Hey, everybody. Welcome to CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt, co-founder of the Challenged Athletes Foundation. I've been really looking forward to this next interview. Former professional soccer player Craig Black and current soccer player, field goal kicker, punter Dominic Ozeta join us. And Craig, we're going to start with you. Talk a little bit about how important soccer was in your life, because it sounds like something you grew up with.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Craig Black. So yes, I used to be a professional soccer player. I was about to say football because that's what we call it here in Scotland. But soccer was everything to me, still is everything to me. Growing up, that's all I ever played, and that was it. And through my teenage years, I always dreamed about becoming a professional player. And I eventually did, which was great. I was a professional player for 5 or 6 years here in Scotland, and it was great. And it's played a huge part of my life now. I've evolved my career now into an artist, and football still plays a huge part of my, soccer still plays a huge part of my life. I'm in my studio just now here in Scotland, and you can see soccer balls that I've been working on over the past few years, and I've been a few amazing projects over the years through soccer. So again, it's influential to everything I do, and I'm still constantly watching it. My wife needs to tear me away from the soccer. It's insane.
As a professional athlete, that you transition to real life so young. How hard was that for you to go from you're at the top of your profession, you're a professional soccer player, and now what do I do next? And it's not like you're 70 years old like a lot of us. You're a young man.
You're totally right there. So when I turned into the professional deal and signed with a professional club, I was still in high school. So I was like 15, 16 years old.
Yes.
And the kind of educational system in sports is slightly different here in the UK. They're not kind of co-joined like that is in the US. So there was a special agreement at the time when I first signed my professional deal. I would train in the morning with the soccer team. And then in the afternoon, I would go study art and design at my high school, because I was being smart, because I thought it was really, really important to have an education. And like, as much as I wanted to become a professional footballer, I had to have that kind of, don't want to say security, but that foundation to go forward in life. So after high school, I signed for 5, 6 years, doing professional football, and straight into it. I was like the youngest player in the first team. You imagine, this is like full-grown men, and I'm still trying to find out who I am as a young man coming through, trying to, you know what it's like, Dominic, like trying to tackle men and trying to play the ball, and it's such a fast pace and trying to get stronger. So at that point, I had to learn more about myself as well, and I built up as a young lad into a man by going to the gym, working hard, training hard, and the professionalism that hit me at such a young age has been a foundation for my whole career and life as a human being as well. So I'm hugely grateful for that time in my life that it happened. And then as it came to the end, I've just transitioned away into something that I actually love doing now. But again, football always plays a part in my life.
Speaking of soccer, we've got Dominic Ozeta joins us. And Dominic, talk a little about when you found soccer. You were born missing part of one arm. Did you try other sports before you moved into soccer?
I mean, football was always like the main sport of my dad's side of the family. So like I was naturally like I would play football with my older cousins, but then soccer started on my mom's side, where my uncle, he would help. Like I think I was 4 when I first started training with him at just the park. I'd go after school almost every day. That's like when I first remember of me playing soccer.
I love it. And I was looking online. You're playing soccer, you're playing football, you're kicking field goals, and you're punting. I think I saw like a 43-yard punt. And what's your longest field goal?
My longest field goal is 43.
43. That is awesome. And any limitations in terms of the arm for when you're playing football?
No, I never feel it. I just it's always like just adapting for me. So I feel like I've done a very good job at doing that.
Growing up when you were young, did your parents basically say, "Listen, you're missing part of an arm, but that's not gonna affect anything you do. You can do anything and everything"?
Yeah, my parents did very good at doing that. Just as soon as like young as I can remember, it was always that. Just you're gonna figure out how to do it. It doesn't matter what it is.
So you have a prosthetic arm. Do you wear that sometimes, like in public, or do you wear that when you play ball?
No, I don't wear it when I play. I feel like I used to when I was younger, but I found that it would make me slower. So I felt like that was holding me back from going to the next level of playing at my hopefully at my top game for soccer and football.
So what are the goals for both soccer and football? Do you see yourself going on and playing both in college?
Yeah, my main focus is soccer because I want to play the Division One soccer, hopefully pro, and then football is there. I'm just doing it because I like football.
And do you find they complement each other? Does playing football help you with your soccer? Does playing soccer help you with your football?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like just day one kicking football, it was like it was almost natural. I just had to sharpen up like skills of how to do it, but it wasn't a problem.
So Craig, back your way. Talk a little bit about that transition. You transitioned and you're a Scottish visual artist, acrylic fusion technique. When did you first discover that and realize that, oh my God, I can incorporate sport into my art?
So a few years ago, funnily enough, my wife came home with these gym leggings on, which were colorful patterns, mesmerizing. And I was kind of like, how are these created? It just blew me away. What I found out, it was called a paint pouring technique. So I went on to YouTube and typed in paint pouring, and it led me down the downward spiral of YouTube into different videos of how to do this kind of fusion of art and paint. I was instantly hooked, and I was, for about 3 or 4 years, I was practicing acrylic fusion, but in the background. So I used to run a design agency, but in the background I was doing this acrylic fusion stuff. So I was practicing in the shadows in the background when no one's watching. And it's so important, because when I came to light and saying I can do this, I had years of experience. Just like you, Dominic, when you're going into the football field, having all that soccer experience is going to be massively impactful and important for you going forward. And but for me, in terms of the business, in terms of being an artist, football is imperative what I do. Like the first project, it was like what we call as a self-initiated project. So no client, it was all my own back, and I wanted to see how I could combine my two great passions of soccer and art, and obviously the paint pouring effect. So I basically had a football, had paint poured on top, and it created this mesmerizing pattern. That was 2 years ago, and it's led me to the most amazing collaborations with brands across the world. Like I've worked with UEFA, I've worked with the Premier League, and I'll let you in an insight that not many people know yet, is I am going to the FIFA World Cup in Qatar in the next 5 weeks, and I'm going to be doing live art performances, painting soccer balls, but I'm painting 32 soccer balls for each country participating. Everything that's happened in my life has led to this kind of moment. So it's really exciting time for me. And I'm just like that childhood boy who's played soccer across the park. And like you, Dominic, I was in your shoes before, and it's such an exciting journey you're going to be on. Do you know what I mean? And like it's going to take you in crazy paths, but listen, if soccer and football is like your greatest passion, you never know what it could lead to.
Well, Dominic, when you hear World Cup, I'm guessing that's a goal for you, that you want to play in World Cup sometime.
Of course, I mean that's like the biggest stage.
So for when you go to college, we talked a little bit about how Craig has incorporated his art. What are you studying? What do you want to do? When I say when you grow up, but you've grown up a lot already. What do you want to do later on besides soccer? Obviously, you want to be a pro soccer player, but beyond that.
I'm still deciding. I don't know if I want to major in business or law yet. So I'll figure that out.
So when you see those soccer balls in the background that Craig has designed, those are pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that was like the first thing that popped out when he was talking about it.
Dominic, when I was at your age, I remember like having all these options as well, whether it was to be a professional soccer player, education, all those kind of things. Like one piece of advice I would give you is like trust in yourself, trust in your gut and what your heart desires. Because it will be an exciting journey, whatever you do, and just go with it. Do you know what I mean? Don't feel like you need to make a decision at such a young age. This is it, because like I said, I dreamed about becoming a professional soccer player, and I did do it, but then it's kind of evolved, and now I dreamed about going to the World Cup as well. As a kid, I was hoping to play for Scotland and go to the World Cup, but I wasn't good enough, unfortunately. However, this is my way of getting to the World Cup. This is my true calling. So, but I didn't know that 15 years ago. So it's all that path. So it's an exciting time for you, pal. It really is.
When you, Craig, you hear about a young man who never looked at a challenge as a limitation. You know, you're missing part of an arm and playing soccer is still a challenge. When you hear about the story and you know from your experience how important having all of your body parts is, when you hear about a kid performing at this level, what are your thoughts?
I think, Dominic, I'm not gonna lie, I think you're hugely inspiring. I really am. Like, I'm hearing about your story, what you've achieved so far, you as a human being, where your personality as well. You're such a humble and such modest person, and I don't think you realize how amazing you are, really. Like, I wish I could be there to hug you right now and just give you a big hug. Really, I think you're an inspiring character and what you've achieved, and I'm just so excited to see what comes next. I really am.
Thank
So
you.
Dominic, when somebody is usually a kicker or field goal kicker or punter, as soon as they do their thing, they're running off the field. They don't want to get hit by anybody. They don't want to hit anybody. But you've made some tackles.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3, but I wouldn't get in any of those big hits.
You want to be the hitter, but you don't want anybody hitting you.
Oh, no way. No. If you can't, it's a flag if you hit me, so they're not allowed to hit me. So.
Really? Oh, that's right. You're the punter. You can't get hit or field goal kicker. Very cool. What's the best game you've had?
It was probably my second game of the season. That was my long field goal attempt and then my longest punt of the year.
That's so cool. And yeah, the team must have been really jazzed. Did you pin them back with the long punt?
Yeah, I completely flipped the field. It was like I think it was a 66-yard punt, and I pinned them inside the 10.
That is cool. So, Craig, what's the best game you ever had?
Oh, the best game I ever had was at Ibrox, which is the stadium where Rangers play.
Yes.
And I played against Rangers. Well, the team that I played for was Greenock Morton, so that was my local club. And we played against Rangers, and I scored, which is quite a rarity because I played as a fullback. So I was always the last man back, but I scored against Rangers. But then we got beat 9-1. So it's probably, I don't know if it's the most important game, but it always stands out to me because I did score at Ibrox. So that was my highlight, I would say.
So, Craig, we know that Dominic has achieved a lot, but he also needs a little bit of help and support. And I love the fact that you've come on with us to let Dominic know what Challenged Athletes Foundation is thinking.
Yeah. So, Dominic, we have a special surprise today. I want to be the first to share with you that you are approved for a CAF grant to cover training and travel expenses. Listen, you're an impressive sport athlete. We can't wait to see how far you're going to go in sports and college sports and in life.
I love it. Hey, Dominic, what are you thinking?
Thank you. Seriously, it's going to help a lot. I do a lot of personal training on the side and just club fees, so it's going to help a lot. Thank you to Mr. Black and CAF, just always helping.
You've been part of our CAF family for quite a while now.
Yes, I have.
And you've met a number of the CAF athletes. What do you guys learn from each other?
Just like the want, like I feel like everybody wants something and they always have a drive and they're just always motivated.
Dominic, keep doing what you're doing. It'd be cool. You'd be the first guy to play professional football, professional soccer. That'd be great.
Yes, it would.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Craig, thank you so much for taking so much time. I love your art and I love your personality. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, CAF's Heroes of Sport. My name is Bob Babbitt and we'll catch you next time. See ya.